Uncle Dan.
Hey, Uncle Doug.
How are we doing?
Oh man, it's been I'm thankful.
Good.
It was a thankful time.
Yeah.
And now we got to talk about something.
We got to talk about something, and I'm racking my brain for a clever intro, but I can't think of one. So, Uncle Mark.
Uncle Mark, do a clever intro right now. Go.
Hey. Well, maybe you guys don't know as much as I thought you might have about this particular topic. So
I don't know anything.
I think that could be applied to me. About
I think
any
you will.
topic.
I think when I get through it, you'll be like, oh yeah.
Okay.
So let's do that. So
Great.
You know how our examination of every flavor and stink of religion generally has us talking about really awful people, and how stories about awful people very often end up being real bummers, like when Doug talked about the Mormon murders and stuff like that.
Doug,
You're welcome.
Well, what if I told you I have a story about a truly awful person, but despite their awfulness, it's got a feel-good ending?
Oh.
And what if I told you there's also pie?
Oh,
How about that?
I'm excited.
How about that?
It 'tis the season for pie.
Yeah, and this was we should celebrate this anniversary with pie every year because it's kind of a wonderful thing. So I think you two would agree with me that in addition to its many crimes and sins, what we three really despise the most about religion is its constant assaults on the rights of non-believers or just anyone else living their own lives by their own dictates and having the unbelievable audacity not to live in accordance with the demands of some random Christian somewhere, right?
Nope, for me it's just boring.
Yeah. Well, the two of Doug and I hate that part. So
Okay.
but we live in Utah, so
Two votes.
Who's the real idiot here? So, a perfect example of one such Christian busybody and moral scold was Miss Oklahoma in 1958.
Oh.
Who had a number 5 song on the Billboard charts called Paper Roses in 1960, was the spokesmodel for Florida orange juice until she fucked that up, and was such a vicious anti-gay bigot that Ronald fucking Reagan opposed her.
Wow.
How about that?
Olivia Newton-John.
You gave it away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, and she's we only joke because she's a big fan. Olivia, come on.
we love you.
You're our neutron bomb, baby. It's only a joke. So, who is this pillar of white, hateful, country fried rectitude? Why, none other than Oklahoma's own Anita Bryant.
Woohoo!
For anyone who has the great fortune of being too young to know who this hateful old ghoul is,
Like me.
congratulations. Yeah, you're not. You should know.
Okay, I'm just too dumb.
But that's probably it. But to any of our listeners who are familiar with this 1953 white American suburb in human form, especially any of our older LGBTQ listeners, you likely remember this bouffanted witch as the devil, and you are right. So let's talk a little bit about her, Anita. Born in Barnsdall, Oklahoma in 1940, she was raised as a hard-right evangelical in her native Tulsa. Her very religious grandfather encouraged her talent for singing, and she was soon entertaining Sunday services with her peppy versions of hymns and praises to white Jesus.
Everybody loves a peppy hymn.
And as I alluded, she built a little bit of celebrity as a beauty queen and parlayed that into minor stardom with her schmaltzy singing career and turned that into major celebrity as an outspoken hateful bigot. An outspoken bigot who gained quite the following as an unjust universe would have it. And here's the kind of things she did with that celebrity. In 1977, Dade County, Florida passed a law making it illegal to discriminate against gay and lesbian people. You will notice I left out the BTQI parts of the familiar acronym because in 1978, even though society was taking baby steps toward protecting the L's and the G's, it's still a fuck of a long way from even thinking about protecting the B's, the T's, especially the T's, the Q's and the I's.
Yeah.
It still is on the eve of 2020. But anyway, yay, amazing Dade County, Florida in 1977.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
That is impressive.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So, and there was a time when Florida was something other than the insane, methed-out national brother-in-law. So,
I mean, was it though?
at least Dade County.
Well, you can be methed out, and that can lead you to being okay with the gays. It's just a theory.
Dan is saying that meth is the gateway drug to acceptance, everybody. So you heard it here first.
Get out there and try some meth.
If you hate the gays, try some meth.
Don't take drug advice from a podcast.
Take any advice from this podcast.
So she said of the Dade County ordinance at the time, Anita Bryant did, what these people really want, hidden behind obscure legal phrases, is the legal right to propose to our children that theirs is an acceptable alternate way of life. I will lead such a crusade to stop it as this country has not seen before. That's right, guys. The gays are going to prey on our children, Kennard. Of every homophobic Christian shitbag was Bryant's whole shtick. And just as a gay person, can I say, you keep your shitty kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Exactly. They're your problem, not ours.
What's amazing to me is that she wasn't even saying the gays are coming to, like, fuck our children. Or the gays are coming to convert our children.
Yeah.
All she said in that was the gays are coming to make our children believe that maybe they're not horrible, evil people.
That they maybe have a right to live. So here she is.
And that was what she objected to.
Yeah, well, she's got more. Here she is again expounding on her qualifications to speak knowledgeably on human biology. As a mother, I know that homosexuals cannot biologically reproduce.
Because motherhood qualifies you for that.
Yes. And editor's note, actually, yes, we can.
Absolutely
we
can.
are completely capable of reproducing. Therefore, they must recruit our children. If gays are granted rights, next we'll have to give rights to prostitutes. Yes, you should give rights to prostitutes.
Wouldn't that be horrible?
And to people who sleep with St. Bernards and to nail biters.
Woo?
Beer?
What?
Here's what I love about this. I mean, on Thank God I'm Atheist, we long ago decided that all slippery slopes eventually lead into the vagina of an animal.
Into bestiality. Or the butt.
Or the butt.
There can be butt stuff.
Into an animal hole.
Yes.
That's the idea. And yes, she went there.
Where consent is at best complex.
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry. Am I missing something about the nail biting?
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Maybe that means something in Barnstead, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Right. So
okay.
Anyway, and she also, as the spokesperson for Florida Orange Juice, also frequently referred to the LGBTQ people as human trash.
Oh, good.
So that's nice. Well,
she could have at least called them like human orange peels or something.
It'd be very on brand.
Just tie it in.
Yeah, it's synergy, corporate synergy. Dade County's minor creep toward Christians being asked politely not to run over queers with their pickup trucks was a bridge too far for Anita.
Yeah.
So she forged a group of concerned bigots, not at all alarmingly called Protect the Children, whose true purpose was to repeal the ordinance, therefore ensuring lovers of Jesus could spit on scared, oppressed people without fear of a misdemeanor citation.
It's a dance as old as time.
And because evil wins more than good does on this unhappy planet with all the carnivores and the destructors on it, the Protect the Children Crusaders were sadly successful, as they were in getting pro-LGBTQ ordinances removed in St. Paul, Minnesota, Wichita, Kansas, what's up, Wichita, and Eugene, Oregon.
Yeah.
So I know 1977 seems like ancient history to some, but it was a brutal time for queer people in this country, with the onset of the horrors of the AIDS epidemic and truly despicable people like Anita Bryant having access to power and using it to make the lives of miserable people worse. But just 37 years after that dismal period, marriage equality was declared constitutional, and the increased visibility and acceptance of our trans brothers and sisters is jaw-dropping to any of us who remember the Anita Bryant period.
Yeah.
And in her stupid, vicious way, we have her to kind of thank for this progress, right? I'll tell you why. You see, actually decent people found her form of relentless, retrograde bigotry a bit much, and they came to see the very opposite of her venomous opinions as the decent way forward. What kind of people? People like Ronald fucking Reagan. Such a great friend to the gay community, he waited until nearly 30,000 of us were dead from the nightmarish epidemic of AIDS before he said a single word about it.
Right.
As you know, president.
Statesman, I would say.
He thought she was a bit much. Bryant agitated for and got a deeply anti-gay ballot initiative on the ballot in California, buoyed as she was by all her hateful victories around the country.
And backed by Big Orange.
Backed by Big Orange. And Big Orange was beginning to have their doubts, but we'll talk about that. So the so-called Briggs Initiative would have made it a crime to ever say anything positive about homosexuality or queer people in California public schools, or even to be queer in the school system, and that would be a fireable offense.
How do you police that?
Christian kids. They police. Do you think Christian kids aren't policing schools?
So does that mean that you can't say Leonardo da Vinci painted a good painting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as long as you say he wasn't a massive queer, then yeah. Sorry, we're breaking news here, guys.
Right.
Maybe it's too soon.
Spoiler alert.
You guys, sorry.
I've outed Leonardo, and I didn't even ask him. President Jimmy Carter, Governor Jerry Brown, and President Gerald Ford all spoke in opposition to the Briggs Amendment. And so did Ronald Reagan, who was getting ready to run for president in 1980.
Wow.
But his reasoning was that kids angry about bad grades could accuse teachers of being gay, kicking off a sort of witch hunt where straight people, gasp, might get innocently caught up.
Jesus.
But a stop clock can still be right twice a day. So, thanks, Ronnie. The ballot measure,
he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. Yeah, it's actually true, but that was his only reason for it. The ballot measure went down in defeat, handing Bryant the first humiliation of her crusade. Gay-owned and gay-friendly businesses and people all over the country boycotted Florida orange juice as a result. It's hard to say how big an effect the boycott had on their decision, but by 1980, Florida orange juice had decided that Bryant had passed her expiration date, and she was let go. I did read an article that said that basically their market research had determined that Miss Oklahoma 1958 had limited market cachet in the go, 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 greed is good ethos of 1980.
Right.
But the coincidence of her being let go was taken as an invigorating victory for the gay rights community, and it's become an important part of the narrative of the period.
Huh.
Yeah.
So
Her oranges had gone sour.
they were not producing any juice. That was gross. I'm sorry.
I liked it.
Since 1980 was going to be an epically shit year for the richly deserving Bryant, she shocked her religious supporters and fellow crusaders by filing for divorce.
What?
They couldn't believe her hypocrisy. Remember, guys, when moral consistency in their leaders was something American Christians insisted on?
And no.
No, I don't remember that
I don't
at
remember
all.
that in the slightest.
I'm at 51. I barely do. So good times. Anyway, that was kind of it career-wise for Bryant. Decent people thought she was a hateful relic of an ugly past, and frothing right-wing Christians that used to worship her thought of her as a fallen woman and hypocrite. Too bad, so sad, Anita. But there's one more thing she's remembered for. Remember a minute ago when I said the failure of the Briggs Initiative in California was her first public humiliation? There was another.
Oh, good.
And it was really, really good.
Ooh.
You guys know I love art, right?
Sure.
And we all do. I love all kinds of art, paintings, lithography, sculpture.
Yes.
Walk around an intimidating Richard Serra steel piece if you can. It's glorious. And I love big ideas like Christo wrapping the Reichstag to reveal the rebirth of Germany from the ashes of the past, or Philippe Petit's breathtakingly beautiful guerrilla performance art piece of a high wire walk between the Twin Towers. That's hard to get out. It was harder to get out than it was hard for him to do. So,
Yeah.
all extraordinary. But maybe the greatest artist of the 20th century was the late Tom L. Higgins, who hit that Nazi witch Anita Bryant in the face with a pie at a news conference on October 14th, 1977. It was an absolute masterpiece. You can find the video of the incident online. It is, if you need to pick me up, it's so beautiful. I know we're not supposed to punch Nazis, but this is pieing. This, is that the same as punching? It's giving someone a pie, and that's a nice thing, right?
It's free pie.
It's a free pie.
That is free pie.
So I'll give Anita the tiniest credit for the joke she cracked in the moments afterwards, saying, at least it's a fruit pie. So there's that.
Oh.
See, gay people are fruits.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if that's funny or if, did she know that she was making a joke or did she?
It's like when a Bond villain has a good joke.
Yeah.
You're like,
it's-
okay.
It's kind of impressed. What I don't want to be is as impressed as I kind of am.
Yeah.
If she came up with that on the fly, I'm actually.
With her face completely covered in pie. Yes, she came up with that on the fly.
Wow.
I'm still not going to like her.
Yeah, fuck her.
Okay, well, I think that's the wise choice.
Yeah, fuck her. But here's the thing. Bryant is still alive, living somewhere in fucking Oklahoma. She struggled to rebuild her career in an America growing more and more tolerant and having soured on her vicious brand of Americana. Several attempts at recording albums and doing live shows in Branson, Missouri, Eureka Springs, Arkansas, which, Dan, I believe you're familiar with.
I've been there, yes.
Yeah, and a place that is really called Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Pigeon Forge.
Pigeon Forge, I guess that's where they make pigeons, ended in disaster and bankruptcy. So she's now rattling her tin cup as the head of Anita Bryant Ministries International, whose website features several pages titled, "Check back soon for more information," and a rambling 5,000-word bio page written by a crazy person. So that's great.
Anita Bryant sounds like Anita Paycheck.
Ayo!
Let us leave this awful grifter and fossil from a more hateful age with some lyrics from her number 5 Billboard hit, Paper Roses. Oh, how real those roses seem to be, but they're only imitation. Like your imitation love for me. I thought that you would be a perfect lover. You seemed so full of sweetness at the start. But like a big red rose that's made of paper, there isn't any sweetness in your heart.
Oh.
No, there is not, Anita.
Somebody hit that lady with a pie.
Send that bitch a pie. Anyway, that's Anita Bryant, guys.
All right. Well,
Bye. May she rest in pieces.
yeah, well, she's still alive, Doug.
If you call that living.
Call that living.
All right, let's leave her. Moving
Moving on.